Hello, friends. West Asia has been in flames for much longer than we can remember. The crisis there encompasses the Israeli Palestinian conflict, Iran Israeli tensions, and broader instability. Some frame the crisis as a continuation of Western racial hegemony. This perspective is not entirely unfounded, but it fails to capture the complexity of strategic, historical, and regional factors at play. The historical context of Western involvement in West Asia is deeply rooted in colonialism. Following the collapse of the Ottoman Empire after World War I, European powers divided the region through the Sykes-Picot Agreement. Britain and France created artificial borders without considering the ethnic, tribal, and religious makeup of the people living there. Rashid Ismail Khalidi, a Palestinian American historian, has pointed out that these borders were drawn with no regard for local realities. The result was a collection of fragile states, many of which were ruled by regimes aligned with Western interests. This colonial legacy sowed deep resentment and left behind a fractured political landscape. The discovery of oil in the region added another layer of Western interest and interference. West Asia became a critical energy supplier for the industrializing West, especially during and after World War II. Britain and France initially dominated, but the United States of America soon took over as the main external power. Washington's policy focused on containing Soviet influence, maintaining access to oil, and securing regional allies. To achieve this, the United States offered military and financial support to governments like Saudi Arabia and Israel, helping them maintain power in exchange for loyalty. Israel, in particular, emerged as a key Western ally, often viewed as a strategic outpost to maintain US hegemony in the region. This approach created long-term dependencies and suppressed local movements for self-determination. Critics argue that while the West no longer uses overtly racial language, its policies continue to reflect a system that disadvantages non-whites and non-Western populations. However, the motivations behind contemporary Western involvement in West Asia are as strategic as they are racial. Modern Western engagement in the region revolves around three main goals: containing Iran, maintaining strategic alliances, and securing energy routes. The escalation in June 2025, marked by Israel's airstrikes on Iranian nuclear and military sites in locations such as Arak, Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan, followed by US military involvement, underscores these priorities. Israel described its initial attacks launched on June 13, 2025 as preemptive measures to prevent Iran from developing nuclear weapons, which it considers an existential threat. Iran retaliated with missile and drone strikes, including hypersonic weapons, claiming to have breached Israeli airspace. The death toll from these exchanges exceeded 600 in Iran and 224 in Israel, raising fears of a wider regional war. The American decision to join Israel's campaign on June 21 marked a significant escalation. Its president, the American president, authorized strikes on three Iranian nuclear facilities, and these facilities were Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan, using B-2 stealth bombers and Tomahawk missiles launched from submarines. In a televised address, the president claimed that the strikes had completely and totally obliterated Iran's nuclear enrichment capabilities, describing the operation as a spectacular military success. The decision was driven by several factors. First, the American administration believed that Iran's nuclear program posed an imminent threat, with US intelligence assessments suggesting Israel's prior attacks had only delayed Iran's nuclear progress by about 6 months. The president publicly dismissed claims by his intelligence director that Iran was not actively building a nuclear weapon, insisting that Iran was very close to achieving nuclear capability. These claims have been made for several years now, with Iran nowhere near having the nuclear capability as yet. Second, the president's close coordination with Israeli Prime Minister, whom he praised for working as a team like no team has ever worked before, reflected a strategic alignment to decisively neutralize Iran's nuclear ambitions. Third, the American president's frustration with stalled diplomatic efforts played a critical role. Despite earlier attempts to negotiate a new nuclear deal to replace the previous agreement, which was abandoned in 2018, the president grew convinced that diplomacy had run its course after Iran rejected his calls for unconditional surrender and continued retaliatory strikes against Israel. However, the decision was controversial. Critics argued that actions violated the US Constitution by bypassing congressional approval for military action. However, many also supported the move, arguing it was necessary to prevent Iran from acquiring nuclear weapons, which they deemed the most acute immediate threat to the United States and its allies. The strikes, dubbed Operation Midnight Hammer, involved 125 US aircraft, including 7 B-2 bombers carrying 14 massive ordnance penetrator or MOP bunker busters. These bombs were used to specifically target the heavily fortified Fordo facility. Despite the president's claims of total destruction, Iranian officials and the International Atomic Energy Agency reported limited damage and no increase in off-site radiation levels, suggesting that Iran may have moved critical materials prior to the attack. Meanwhile, tensions between Israel and Hamas in Gaza have led to catastrophic humanitarian consequences. Since October 2023, Israeli military campaigns have killed over 55,000 Palestinians, most of them civilians, including women and children. Independent analysis suggests that up to 80% of the casualties in residential areas were civilians. On June 17, 2025, at least 51 Palestinians were killed while waiting for food in Rafah and Khan Yunis. Witnesses and international media reported that Israeli forces opened fire on crowds gathered at aid distribution points. These incidents sparked outrage and drew comparison to colonial practices where food and aid were used as tools of control. Humanitarian organizations, including the UN and Médecins Sans Frontières, accused Israel of obstructing aid and warned of possible war crimes. The selective response of Western countries to these events has drawn accusation of double standards. The United States continues to provide military and financial aid to Israel despite mounting civilian casualties, while strongly condemning Iran for its support of armed groups like Hezbollah and for its nuclear program. This hypocrisy has led some critics to claim that Western governments value strategic interests more than human rights. To many observers, these actions carry undertones of racial bias, as the disproportionate impact on Arab and Muslim populations is often downplayed in Western media and policy discussions. It is true that Canada, the UK, Australia, New Zealand, and Norway have imposed sanctions on Israeli ministers for inciting violence against Palestinians. The European Union is a major humanitarian donor to Palestinians and is now reviewing its trade relations with Israel. But clearly, their condemnation of Israel is muted and of the Americans absent. The actions of Israel and its Western allies smack of neo-imperialism. Israel is a tool of American imperialism. Many accuse the West of operating a genocidal crime syndicate. These expressions capture the depth of anger and disillusionment in the region. Decades of foreign interference, military interventions, and broken peace promises have created a strong sense of betrayal. In contrast, Israel and its allies argue that their actions are driven by security concerns. Israel sees Hamas, Hezbollah, and Iran's nuclear ambitions as existential threats. The United States views its role as stabilizing the region by countering Iran, ensuring the flow of oil, and supporting a democratic ally in Israel. America's decision to strike Iran's nuclear facilities was framed as a necessary step to prevent Iran from becoming a nuclear armed state, which was argued that it would destabilize the region and threaten global security. Even when Western leaders express concern about civilian casualties, they tend to frame these tragedies as unfortunate byproducts of necessary military actions. The vast majority of civilian casualties are Arab and Muslim. A 2025 report by the Middle East and North Africa Research Center described racism as a global pandemic and noted that Western media and political leaders often downplay suffering in non-white regions. This selective empathy, critics argue, reinforces a global hierarchy that devalues non-Western lives. However, most Arab governments are keeping their distance from Iran, even if they criticize Israel from time to time. Iran is a Shia Muslim country, while most Arab countries follow Sunni Islam. There is a long history of mistrust and rivalry between Shia and Sunni leaders. Many Arab states are worried about Iran's growing influence in the region. Iran supports armed Shia groups in countries like Lebanon, Iraq, Syria, and Yemen. These groups often challenge the authority of Sunni governments. Arab rulers see Iran as a country that wants to spread its power using religion and weapons. Although many Arabs support the Palestinian cause, they do not trust Iran's way of helping them. Iran says it supports the Palestinians, but Arab leaders believe that Iran is using the issue to gain power in the region. People in these countries may feel strongly about Palestine, but they do not want their leaders to join a dangerous war started by Iran. Even Syria, which depends on Iran for military help, is focused on its own survival and does not want to invite more trouble. So, Arab countries are staying out of Iran's war with Israel and the United States because of religious differences, political rivalry, economic interests, fear of unrest, and a desire to protect their own power and interests, of course. In conclusion, the West Asia crisis is deeply shaped by the legacy of Western hegemony, especially the colonial borders and alliances created in the 20th century. Current conflicts are driven as much by strategic interests as by racism. America's decision to attack Iran's nuclear facilities in June 2025 was motivated by a strategic alignment with Israel to counter Iran's perceived nuclear threat. The impact of these policies disproportionately affects non-white populations, fueling perceptions of racial injustice. However, Iran's nuclear ambitions and insecurity among Arabs too have complicated the situation, which is worsening by the day. In case you have liked my video, please do like, subscribe, comment and share. Thank you.